Hello everybody, Critical Blindside here with finally a review that is not even probably in theaters anymore. It came out November 2nd, so I saw it about a week and a half ago, and I apologize just getting to a review now. Not that anybody's sitting here waiting on me to do anything, but I enjoy putting out reviews, and I should be putting out reviews that are actually in theaters, but hey, maybe you're deciding to watch this on Netflix or whatever in a couple months, and you want to know if it's good. Also, it happens to coincide with another review I'm doing probably in a day or two, The Imitation Game. This is about two scientists that I absolutely adore, and they're kind of my heroes. One, Stephen Hawking, which that's what this review is about, a theory of everything. To The Imitation Game, which is another kind of a similar movie, but more kind of actiony, on Alan Turing, who is again one of my heroes, and that's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever Cabbage Patch, whatever his name is. Also, if I sound a little different, that's awesome because I got a new voice recorder. It makes me sound really, really good, and I don't have to mess with sound all that much, so I just pretty much talk, and it sounds good enough for me to just compress a little bit and put it on. So I'm happy for that. I can pump out more stuff, but again, sorry, working two jobs, trying to fit in life as well, and studying for school. I just don't have a whole lot of time to do these things, but I will be pumping out more reviews. I have another location that I will be doing reviews at in the future that is a lot more amenable to doing a review, and so I should be able to do more. But let's get into it. Apologize, I should know what the director's name is for the movie that I'm reviewing, but I'll just bing it right here. Wonderful introduction to me. The cinematography is wonderful in this movie, and I'll try to show a few screenshots of examples of just wonderful looking scenes, wonderful looking shots. And the lighting in this movie, except for one thing that I'll mention in just a bit, is just amazing, especially in the scene where Stephen is courting his soon-to-be wife, and there's little wires hanging down with light bulbs, round light bulbs on it, and that scene just, it literally almost took my breath away. And it was just a wonderful shot, and it was one of those things where if you're a cinematography buff, you're going to have a lot to look at, and you're going to have, if you love the way a movie looks as opposed to other aspects of film, it really is a visual spectacle. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece or anything like that, but it's just a very well shot movie. It was very competent is a good word to use. Also, I appreciate that he sets the tone of the movie almost instantly. I didn't know what to think of this movie going into it. I didn't know if it was going to focus more on his theories and more on his scientific achievements, or if it was going to focus more on his love life or his fight with his disease. There was a lot of ways that the director could have taken this movie and it would have worked. So that's why I think they chose this topic to talk about or to show, is because you really can literally go into any aspect of it and make a movie from it. But they chose to go directly into his personal life and to show Stephen Hawking the person, not the physicist, not the motor neuron disease guy who does 4-page calculations in his head. As most of you know, he has ALS, which is unfortunately made famous by the retarded ALS bucket challenge that was being shown all over the place in YouTube and Facebook and all that. Most famously, that whole campaign showcased how many people how many people shoot on a cell phone like this instead of like this. So I got a lot of movies where I'm watching scenes with black bars on them, and being someone who takes pride in a little pride into how I look, it just bugged me. But anyway, enough of a tangent. So it focused more on his love life, especially his marriage, and what it's like for a wife to not only raise children, but to take care of someone who physically can't take care of themselves and still being in love with this person. which I thought was endearing and I thought was absolutely amazing about this character portrayal, was you can still feel the love that they had for each other, even though Stephen Hawking was basically turning into basically a burden. I hate to put it like that, but really, I mean, he can't take care of himself. He can't feed himself. He can't do any of these normal things that kind of people take for granted nowadays. But you could still see the passion and the love for each other, especially the scenes. There was a big article, and again, I'll put it here. There's an article about for the actual real ex-wife didn't want any sex scenes to be shown. They wanted that to be private. They didn't want that to be shown. But the director really wanted to delve into this aspect, maybe show a sex scene or something like that. Of course, it would be done tastefully. Everything else was. And I think this director could have handled that. But they chose not to do that. So basically what they would do to replace it is they would show an embrace and show the lead up to a sexual or a passionate scene, and then cut, and then the next scene would be a baby. They would be taking care of a baby. So you got it, you know what I mean? But it almost felt like it was glossing over that part. But I think that was just to fulfill the wishes of the family and the people of, you know, that the movie was based on. But it ended up being a little bit negative in my mind because it felt glossed over. Also, going back to the way the movie looks, I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but especially in the first scene and a couple other scenes in the movie, there was a definite color tone problem. I don't know if it was a problem or if it was intentional or what, but usually when you master a movie out, you try to make every scene, unless it's, you know, indoor, outdoor, stuff like that, you try to make every scene, the color tone or the color temperature all look the same. You don't want it to look too blue or too red or too orange. And what you would do is you would go into editing software and you would correct all this stuff. That way you don't have, you know, a blue scene that's next to a red scene and, you know, the scenes kind of flow. But there was definite, and I'm going to try to find screenshots of this. I haven't tried to look yet, but there was definite blue tones in the beginning of the movie, red tones towards the middle of the movie, and kind of orangey yellow tones at the end. It was very weird. And like I said, usually, especially a director who knows how to frame and do all the stuff that he knows how to do, I am sure that was intentional. There was no way that something that blue of a tone could ever get by even a first-year editing student or someone who even just looks at it and goes, yeah, it doesn't seem right. The girl that I was with didn't quite pick up on it until I noticed it, until I mentioned it to her. I picked up on it instantly, and the only reason it took me out of the movie was because I'm trying to rationalize why this is in the film, and I didn't know if it was like a metaphor or anything like that. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I tend to overthink things, obviously, but that's what took me out of the movie, was the fact that I was thinking of why could that possibly be in the movie? But Eddie Redmayne, who is the actor who portrayed Stephen Hawking, did a fantastic job. If he is not recognized for this movie or for this performance, then there's something wrong. I don't know how he's going to attract any attention if he doesn't attract attention from this movie. There was glimpses where I thought it was Stephen Hawking, and he just does a wonderful job with his nuance and the way that he just became Stephen Hawking, and I believed he was it, and I believed that was Stephen Hawking in front of me. And I know quite a bit about Stephen Hawking, especially his theories and his scientific work. So, which kind of leads me into the next thing is, does Stephen Hawking deserve this movie? And in my personal opinion, no. He's a great scientist, and he's a great character. So that's the only rationalization I have for why this movie was made. But as far as scientific achievement, if you were to rank, you know, top 10 not even physicists, top 10 scientists of the entire last 100 years, or scientists that deserve a movie made after them, Stephen Hawking would be near the bottom, if on the list at all. There were plenty of names like Einstein, Feynman, Bohr, Dirac, especially Dirac. Why there's not a movie made about him, I don't know. There's economists that I can think of that have John Nash, who went absolutely nuts, and that he deserves a movie as well. He got a Nobel Prize after dealing with bipolar schizophrenia and all other things. So now, am I going to say that this movie is bad or whatever it is because it's based on someone who I don't think deserves it. No, he definitely deserves the attention that he gets. It's just, and it was nice to see Stephen Hawking portrayed as an actual human. I think that's the triumph of the entire film was they didn't go too scientific or too nerdy or with it. They went for a character portrayal. And it was really, really nice to see this scientist not portrayed as a pushover, nerdy, doing this with his glasses, kind of like this talking. It was nice to see him portrayed not as that, or on the other end, not as a leather jacket, rock star, crazy tattoo wearing scientist as well. Usually that's the false dichotomy or the duality that we get with scientists is either one or the other. It was nice to see him portrayed as a human being. It was nice to kind of see him portrayed as kind of like a ladies' man. He kind of totally wowed his wife or his ex-wife now off her feet and swooped in and got his girl because he wanted it. And it was kind of nice to see that. Einstein was kind of the same way. Einstein was a total ladies' man whenever he was my age and a little bit younger. And it was nice to see that portrayed. And the humanity, I think, is the actual triumph of the film. But really, I mean, I could think of a lot of other scientists that I would give a movie to first, whose even backstories are more interesting. But it's a good movie. Go see it. Be prepared to cry. It will tug on your heartstrings, and you don't have to know anything about his theories. You don't have to know anything about Hawking radiation or black holes or the Big Bang or anything. It helps gain a little bit of insight to the character if you do, but you don't have to, which I thought that's the mark of any good movie, is you don't have to know anything about it, and you could just go sit down and be wowed. And that was this movie, and I'm glad I saw it. I'm sorry to pump out this review, not that I'm going to drive any sales towards any movies anytime soon, but I would like to think maybe one person has seen a movie based on my recommendation, but go see it, especially if it's cheap on Redbox, whatever the heck, Red, whatever, Blockbuster. Yeah, go see it at Blockbuster. Do that if there is still one around you. And if it's on Netflix or Hulu or Prime, Amazon Prime, definitely go see it. It's definitely worth your time. And I'm going to be seeing the Imitation Game probably tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to be pumping out a review very quickly on that because I can't wait to see it. Alan Turing is definitely one of my heroes and definitely a scientist that deserves a movie. So I'm just afraid mainstream Hollywood has ruined it, but from the reviews that I've seen, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I pump out more material for you guys, and I really hope to be doing this more and more often, but being an adult sucks. I can't do the things I want, but see you later. Blind Side Out.
You live vicariously through the main character, and it's easy to find yourself, however